Let's move on to the next spot on the board. 1 p.m. Eastern. Miami Dolphins 5-3, 2-2 on the road. Chicago Bears 3-5, 2-1 at home. We're at Soldier Field in Chicago, Illinois. 58 Fahrenheit, sunny, 9 miles per hour. Let's start with the line history here in this one. We have the fish. Sorry, it's going to take a second, I guess, to come up here. I don't know. Here we go. We have the fish opening up as 4-point favorites at Pinnacle. They moved to 4.5, and they are now 5-point favorites on the road. The total opened up at 44. It is now at 45. We'll take a look at the cash flow in this one. We have 7,729 tickets in, 58% of the tickets, 83% of cash on the Dolphins, 82% of tickets, 70% of cash on the over. There's Turnsy in the house. Great to see you. Dolphins made a big splash today. Big splash. Pick up Bradley Chubb from the Broncos for a package that includes Chase Edmonds, the 49ers first-round pick in 2023, and a 2024 fourth-round pick. And the Dolphins also get a 2024 fifth-round pick with Chubb. And they're expected to work out a long-term extension. Chubb, 5.5 sacks in 8 games this year, 5th overall pick in the 2018 draft, be paired with Jalen Phillips. And Miami needs them. This is a team that only has 15 sacks this year. They're 26th in opponent yards per play and 25th in opponent points per play. They also pick up Jeff Wilson from the 49ers for a 5th-round pick. We were wondering if Kareem Hunt would be moved over there, but that didn't happen. They come in off a 31-27 win at Detroit. Tua, 29 of 36 for 382 yards, 3 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. He looked very good. Tyreek Hill caught 12 passes for 188 yards. Hill had more than 160 yards receiving for the 4th straight game. That's one short of the NFL record set by Roy Green in 1984. Jalen Waddle, 8 passes for 106 yards and 2 touchdowns. Hill and Waddle have combined for 1,688 yards receiving. That's a Super Bowl-era record for 2 teammates for the first 8 games of the year. Mostert ran 14 times for 64 yards. This defense looked vulnerable. They couldn't get pressure on Goff. Bradley Chubb should help. They finished with 1 sack, 4 quarterback hits. Detroit scored on all 5 of its possessions in the first half. And they lost their left guard, Liam Eichenberg, to a knee injury, and we don't know the extent of it yet. Skydragon says, how do you not play the over? Birdie says, this has to be an over, doesn't it? I waited because I wanted to hear your and Andy's breakdown with those linebackers now gone and Bears offense seemingly figuring out some stuff on offense. Over seems right. Let's talk about the Bears, who have made some big moves recently. Robert Quinn to the Eagles, Roquan Smith to the Ravens. They'll get a 2nd and 5th-round pick for Smith, a 4th-round pick for Quinn. Then they pick up Chase Claypool from the Steelers for a 2nd-round pick. Coming off a 49-29 loss at Dallas, Fields 17-23 for 151 yards, 2 touchdowns, no picks. Ran 8 times for 60 yards. The Bears couldn't get anything through the air. Darnell Mooney, 5 catches for 70 yards, but they ran for 240. Khalil Herbert, 16 carries for 99. Montgomery ran 15 times for 53, caught 3 passes for 22 yards. Also lost a fumble. This defense looked weak. They finished with 1 sack, 2 quarterback hits. Eddie Jackson did have an interception. It's not as bad. I mean, I'm very curious to see what this defense looks like for the second half of the year. The 21st in opponent yards per play, 18th in opponent yards per pass. I actually thought they were a little worse than that. Papa Cal says high winds. I do not have high winds. I do not have high winds or rain. I have a nice day, sunny, 9 miles per hour. I'll double check that. If you're saying that, Papa Calls, I'll double check that. Let's hear what Andy has to say about this spot, Dolphins Bears.
Yeah, pretty simple. I'll keep the handicap simple so I can talk about something else. But yeah, the Chicago Bears defense wasn't ever good this year, and they've traded away 2 good pieces at this point. So losing those guys and then going up against a better offense than they've honestly faced here, probably in a couple weeks, like this is a dangerous offense if they keep Tua healthy and they can just get the ball in the hands of these 2 dynamic playmakers they have. They added a running back that maybe we'll see, how much he's able to get involved right away. I don't know. Honestly, you could bring in a pass rusher. You can bring in a pass rusher and just throw him out there right away. That's fine. He doesn't need to learn that many plays. Just go kill the quarterback. But Miami is a team on the up and up. I worry that they could be a little fraudulent. I'm still not 100% sold on Tua, but I think this Miami offense is going to have its way. And I'm still not a believer in the Miami defense. So the Bears have been kind of squirrely on offense, even if they don't get Claypool involved at all. Justin Fields has been doing a little bit here and there, not just running the ball. Like, he's finding some open receivers. They're using the tight end. I bet this over. I took this over at 45. You can still get, I think Bet Chris still has a 45 in the market if you want that. I checked the weather 3 or 4 times at varying degrees of what we're going to have. I'm showing, it's so far out, somewhere between 10 and 20 mile an hour winds. It's never going to be calm there in Chicago. So I'm fine just chancing it with the weather. And truthfully, like, even if it is a little windy, I don't need either of these teams going deep. It's just get Tyreek the ball in his hands. Let him take care of the rest. Like, you should have 75-yard pass touchdowns where you only throw the ball like 6 yards. That's what Tyreek Hill brings to you. So, and I will say the Bears trade was atrocious today. Like, Chase Claypool is a nice weapon who had a really nice game 2.5 years ago or whatever when he had those 3 touchdowns as a rookie. He hasn't been healthy. He hasn't been effective. And he's been relegated behind multiple other wide receivers by the premier team in the league at evaluating wide receiver talent. They've done nothing but pick out the best receivers of the draft for how many years now? So when you're tossed aside by Pittsburgh, I'm not super excited about trading for you and giving up. I thought they'd given up the pick that they got from the Ravens, which is essentially a 3rd rounder, but they give up their own pick. And if they do lose a few more games, you're talking like a top 35 pick for Chase Claypool, who you only have like a year and a half of team control over. It was a lot to give up. I was kind of sold on the Bears rebuild when they started trading away defensive pieces that were going to get expensive. And then it was 2 steps forward and 8 steps back today. So didn't love the amount that they gave up for Claypool in this one. But in this case, hopefully he finds the field and scores 6 touchdowns.
Well, I like your look on the over. By the way, I checked 3 different sites. None of them have the wind over 15 miles per hour at the very start of the game, dropping down to 12 and 11 within an hour and a half. So I had no concern. It's not as nice as I thought it was going to be, but it's the weather's beautiful.
It's nice for this time of year.
Beautiful, yeah. So the weather is non-issue here, and at least the market's moving from 44 to 45. I agree with this. I agree with this look to the over, and I'm going to jump in